Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision related video here on my channel, and today is part 2 of me talking about possible future venues of the Eurovision Song Contest. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. In part 1 I covered possible future ESC venues from Albania to Lithuania, and today I am covering Luxembourg to the United Kingdom. Do bear in mind that I will be clicking backwards and forwards quite a bit in this video, and chances are it will become somewhat repetitive. Also, I may well forget to mention certain venues that could absolutely host Eurovision if they wanted to, but I'm not going to really drag this video out longer than absolutely necessary. So we crack on then with Luxembourg, a country, like several others in Europe, that would probably struggle to host Eurovision if the opportunity came up. Of course, Luxembourg has hosted in the past, but the venues that were used way back when, they're not terribly suitable now in the modern era. Luxembourg does have, if I take a look here, the De Kock venue, which has a capacity of somewhere in the region of 8,300 and opened in 1982. It's also known as the National Sports and Culture Centre. Simply put, it's a bit on the small side. Obviously, as I said in my previous video, for a venue to host Eurovision, it has to have a capacity of somewhere in the region of 10,000, but that can be somewhat reduced, of course. You've got to take into consideration the size of the stage, all of the lighting and rigging equipment, the commentary boxes at the back of the venue, and of course if the green room is part of the arena floor as well. So let's say Eurovision was here, you'd end up with an audience of probably less than 6,000, which would be somewhat similar to how it was in Basel last month, in all honesty, if not slightly more than what we had in Basel last month. But anyway, I don't think this venue is terribly suitable, but I could be wrong. We also have Luxembourg's national football ground. As I said in my previous video, if you don't really have a suitable indoor arena, you could, if you've got the money, slap a roof over a national football ground, and it could be temporary, it could be permanent, whatever, but that's one way to get around this hosting issue. Luxembourg, like Albania, funnily enough, have a somewhat modern football ground. Luxembourg's opened in 2021. I think this is just south of Luxembourg city centre. It costs somewhere in the region of 80 million euros to construct and has a capacity of 15,000 for concerts. But as I just said, it would need a roof, and I think that would be very costly and difficult to put in place, and as soon as one contest is over you have to prepare for the next one. So Luxembourg would have to get cracking on that right away. They'd have to sort out the financing, all of that behind the scenes stuff. Now, if I also take a look here, Luxembourg's national final over the past few years has taken place in a venue known as the Rockhal in Esch-sur-Alzette, which has a capacity of 6,500. So again, it's not really big enough. Long story short, Luxembourg would find it difficult to find somewhere suitable. After them, it's Montenegro. They've only really got the Moracha Sports Centre in the capital city Podgorica. It opened in 1978, was expanded a couple of years ago, and it has a capacity of about 6,000. But it does have various other complexes, including a swimming pool, a sauna, a media room. Hello, that's pretty handy to have, as well as a few other bits and pieces. But simply put, it's too small. You would probably have to expand it somehow, and you haven't got a whole lot of time in which to do it, or you build somewhere new. That's a lot of money. You would probably need some significant financial support, or you slap a roof over a football stadium, and if I remember correctly, I don't have it in front of me, but I think that would be very difficult to do with any football stadia in the country. So Montenegro would also struggle. One country that wouldn't struggle is the Netherlands. Of course, Eurovision's been there a whole bunch of times, most recently in 2021. Amsterdam has two venues that I can see. We have the Ziggo Dome, which is state-of-the-art looking at it. 17,000 people can be packed in there. It is right next door to the Johan Cruyff Arena, or Amsterdam Arena, which is where Ajax play football, where the Netherlands national team have played football. It opened in 1996. and it has been renovated. 71,000 people can be packed in there for concerts. Of course, that would be significantly less for Eurovision, but this would be an amazing venue for such an event. Loads of famous musicians have performed there, and of course it's hosted notable football matches over the years. So we have the Ziggo Dome and the Johan Cruyff Arena. That's in Amsterdam, and of course Amsterdam has only hosted on one previous occasion. We do have the Ahoy in Rotterdam, which hosted Junior Eurovision a long time ago, and the adult competition itself back in 2021. It opened in 1971 and has been renovated and expanded numerous times. It has also played host to judo, table tennis, volleyball, and many other indoor sporting events. That is actually about it for the Netherlands, I believe. There are one or two other possible venues, but I'm not going to cover them here because, long story short, it would almost certainly end up being between Amsterdam and Rotterdam. We do have the convention centre in Maastricht, which was in contention to stage the competition back in 2020/2021, but really speaking, the venues I've just mentioned are much better. After that, we have North Macedonia. They have got the Boris Trajkovski Sports Centre. Now, North Macedonia, of course, did not compete this year, but they may well be back next year. I'm just going to briefly mention this. I know I haven't covered Moldova or Bosnia or Bulgaria or one or two other countries. Maybe I'll talk about them at another time. Anyway, this venue opened in 2008 and has a capacity of somewhere in the region of 10,000 for concerts. But moving swiftly on to countries that are currently involved with Eurovision, Norway. It's been in Bergen once and Oslo twice. I'm not sure Bergen could do it again, but Oslo absolutely could. We have the Oslo Spectrum, which has been there since 1990. That's when it opened. 9,700 approximately for concerts. It's pretty much in the middle of Oslo, and MGP has been staged there numerous times, as well as Eurovision back in 1996. But we have the much more modern Unity Arena, which is where the 2010 contest was staged. It opened in 2009. It cost, as you can imagine, a lot of money to construct. 25,000 people for concerts. It was far less than that for Eurovision. Some indoor sporting events, such as football, have been staged there as well. But it is right out of the way. It's sort of on the outskirts of Oslo, pretty much. And loads of famous people have performed there. Billie Eilish and Sabrina Carpenter were there earlier this year. Perhaps you were at those shows. We also have the Hawkins Hall in Lillehammer, which opened in 1993. 11,500 is apparently the capacity. It has played host to numerous events, and Junior Eurovision has been staged there in the past too, I believe. Yes, in 2004. The other option is Trondheim, which has the Trondheim Spectrum, which is right next to the water. It opened in 1963 and then was renovated a few years ago. 12,000 people for concerts, slightly less for Eurovision, and MGP has also been staged there, including 2020, 2023 and 2024. So that's another option for Norway right there. As for Poland, now they've got loads of somewhat modern venues. The Ergo Arena in Gdansk. It's pretty fancy. It opened in 2010, 15,000 for concerts. People including Iron Maiden, Il Divo and Slipknot have performed there, as well as other events. Handball and WWE have taken place there too, not far from the water. Very nice. That would be a strong contender to host Eurovision on Polish soil. We do have the Gliwice Arena in Gliwice. You'll have to forgive my pronunciation here. This is also fairly modern, opened in 2018. Between 13,000 and 17,000 here, and Junior Eurovision was there in 2019, and that really was a fabulous show. We have the Spodek in Katowice, which looks a bit like a UFO, 11,036. It opened in 1971, but has been renovated and expanded. We have the Tauron Arena in Krakow, which looks like a bit of a squashed donut somehow. It opened in 2014. Between 15,000 and 22,000 for various events. Elton John's performed there. Where hasn't that man performed? Rod Stewart has been there, and Billie Eilish was there earlier this month because she's got a world tour on at the moment. We've also got the Atlas Arena in Łódź, which I'm always mispronouncing. That opened in 2009, 13,805 the capacity. Elton John's been there as well. And this year, Lorde is going to be there in December, and Tate McRae and Kylie Minogue and 30 Seconds to Mars are all or have performed there this month. So there you go. It's a pretty high on the radar venue for international musicians. Warsaw doesn't really seem to have anywhere, which is a bit bizarre, but I think they're going to build one fairly soon. We do have the Centennial Hall in Wrocław, which again I'm mispronouncing, I do apologise, somewhere between 8,500 and 11,000 the capacity for that one, and apparently it opened in 1913. How about that? Anyway, that's Poland. They wouldn't really have too much trouble finding somewhere to host this event. As for Portugal, it would almost certainly be Lisbon, the MEO Arena, which is right next to the water. Capacity of 20,000 for concerts. It looked fabulous when Portugal hosted Eurovision in 2018, and it did open in 1998. We also have the Braga Forum, which has been there since the early 80s, somewhere in the region of 12,000 there, and also the Pavilhão Multiusos de Guimarães in Guimarães, which opened in 2001, 10,000 people the capacity there, and I believe FDC has been staged there as well. I think that might be where Claudia Pascual won it in 2018. A couple of options, but really Lisbon is the best choice. We'll skip past these two here and focus on Serbia. This is an easy choice. It would be the Stark Arena or Belgrade Arena, which hosted in 2008. It is one of the biggest arenas in Europe. It has a capacity of just over 18,000. It opened in 2004. It took a long time to build, apparently. And of course, Eurovision was there a long time ago, as I think I just said. It's played host to water polo, athletics, music awards, basketball, you name it. This is the place for a major event in Serbia. Another option, I believe, is the one in Novi Sad, which is called the Spens Sports Centre, or SPC Vojvodina. This is not far from the water either. Has a capacity of up to about 7,000, so a little bit more on the small side. It opened in 1981. So it would be Belgrade almost certainly for Serbia. As for Slovenia, this is an easy choice as well. It's the Arena Stožice in the capital city Ljubljana. It has green seats. Basketball's been there as well. It opened in 2010. Didn't take that long to construct at all. And somewhere between 10,500 and 14,500 people can be packed into there. It costs 66 million euros to construct. That would be the absolute best choice for Slovenia. As for Spain, there's various venues. In Barcelona, we have the Palau Sant Jordi, which opened in 1990 and was renovated and expanded in the recent past. Just under 18,000 can be packed into the main hall, and there is another venue nearby, apparently, which could be used for the press. Hello. Basketball has been there, as well as many famous musicians, including Lady Gaga, Elton John, of course, and Laura Pausini, one of the co-hosts of the 2022 contest. We do have the Bizkaia Arena in Bilbao. There it is, pretty much in the heart of the city, it looks like. It opened in 2004, and again, Elton John has performed there alongside La Oreja de Van Gogh. We have Deep Purple, Shakira. Again, it's a go-to venue, really, for a lot of international acts. So who knows, Eurovision could be in Bilbao, and it has a very sizable capacity. We also have 3 venues in Madrid. The Madrid Arena, which opened in 2002, between 10,500 and 12,000 there. Tennis has taken place in that venue too. We have the Palacio Vistalegre, which opened in 2000 and has a capacity of 14,000. However, it's not seemingly the go-to place for concerts in the capital city. The Wizink Centre, or Movie Star Arena, seems to be the better option. This opened in 1960, was closed and then reopened in 2005. Again, every major musician you can think of has performed there. Katy Perry is performing there this year if she hasn't already done so. So Madrid would absolutely be a strong contender, along with Barcelona. You've got the Fernando Buesa Arena in Vitoria-Gasteiz. If you want to, shine a light on somewhere different in Spain, this is an option. Opened in 1991, and basketball has been played there numerous times by the looks of it. And you've also got the Príncipe Felipe Arena in Zaragoza, which has a capacity of just under 11,000. Obviously, Spain's only hosted once before, in Madrid back in 1969, so the interest would be massive if they were to host again. As for Sweden, well, we know they can do it because Melfest tours around Sweden every year, but really it's between the big three: Gothenburg, Malmö and Stockholm. Gothenburg has the Scandinavium, which opened in the early 1970s. It looks a bit like a Pringle, and it cost 31 million Swedish krona to construct. And I believe it's being knocked down and rebuilt fairly soon, but don't quote me on that. 14,000 people can be packed into there for concerts. The record attendance was a Whitney Houston concert, and of course we know this because Melfest heats have been staged there numerous times. Swimming, Eurovision itself in 1985, handball and ice hockey have also taken place there. As for Malmö, they have the Malmö Arena, which opened in 2008, has played host to Eurovision on 2 occasions. Ice hockey is predominantly played there, but other events have taken place in the venue too, and it has a capacity of 15,500 for concerts, apparently slightly less for Eurovision. As for Stockholm, well, they've got the Avicii Arena, which I still know as the Globen, and this is in southern Stockholm, I believe, and it has a capacity of 16,000 for concerts. The record attendance was a Metallica concert. How about that? It opened in 1989. It looks like a golf ball. We are all very familiar with it. We do also have, and I'm going to have to type this in because it's right next door, it's a football stadium. It's known as the 3 Arena, and this, does it have a roof? Yes, it does. A retractable roof. 45,000 for concerts. It opened in 2013, cost a lot of money, and this is another venue that is used for sports, concerts, and indeed various other bits and pieces as well. And yes, you guessed it, Elton John has performed there. We also have, and I'm going to have to type this in as well, it's now known as the Strawberry Arena, I believe. Let me type this in. There it is, the Strawberry Arena, or the Friends Arena, as it was once known. This is Sweden's national football ground. The Melfest final has been there for many years. The record attendance, Taylor Swift, I think I said that about somewhere else in a video yesterday, so I could have been wrong about that one, but right about this one. 65,000, yes, for concerts. Obviously, it's a lot less for Melfest and would be a lot less for Eurovision. And anybody who's seen the Melfest final on TV or online or been there, the stage looks really small. It really does look quite unusual somehow. Maybe not the best. The atmosphere is fantastic. It would be a great venue for Eurovision, but I don't know how you'd make the stage. It would have to be really quite enormous, I would think. Otherwise, you're better off picking somewhere a bit smaller. Anyway, it cost a lot of money and opened in 2012. Football is staged there more regularly than music events by the looks of it. And I think that's about it for Sweden. Of course, you've got Linköping, Lidköping, Umeå, Luleå, Örnsköldsvik, Eskilstuna, Gävle, loads of other places which we are all familiar with because of Melfest. But really, it's Gothenburg, Malmö or Stockholm. And as Gothenburg has only hosted once, it would probably be there again in the near future. As for Switzerland, it's just been there in Basel at the St. Jakobshalle, not the biggest place, opened in the late 70s, capacity of 9,000. It was significantly less for Eurovision. You do have the Bern Arena or Post-Finance Arena, which has this sort of triangular white roof. It opened in the late 60s and has a capacity of 17,000. Ice hockey is staged there as well. We have the Hallenstadion in Zurich, which I'm amazed didn't host Eurovision this year, if I'm being honest with you. It opened in 1939, it's been renovated as well, and 13,000 people can be packed into there for concerts. Tennis and ice hockey have been staged there in the past. You have the Vaudoise Arena in Lausanne. Of course, Eurovision has been in Lausanne before. 12,000 people for concerts. It opened in 2019. And you do have that venue in Geneva, which is not listed here, but was in contention to host Eurovision this year. I believe it's right next to the main airport there, and down the road from the EBU headquarters. But really speaking, Zurich Basel again, and perhaps Bern are the best choices. Moving on to Ukraine, well, they had difficulty, of course, hosting in 2017. I don't have the information in front of me, but it was at the International Convention Centre, I think. Something like that. I'm going to have to check because it's going to annoy me. Yes, indeed. Yes, the International Exhibition Centre in Kyiv. This is where Eurovision would be again, I'm sure, if Ukraine hosted in the near future. It has a capacity of up to 18,000, apparently, and was built at the turn of the century. The other option for Ukraine is the Palace of Sports, which played host to Junior Eurovision ages ago and the adult competition in 2005. It opened in 1960. I don't think it's the best venue anymore, and it has a capacity apparently of somewhere in the region of 6,500. That just leaves the United Kingdom. We've nearly made it, dear viewers. The UK, of course, has loads of venues that are suitable. I'm not going to go through all of them. Aberdeen is one such example. In Birmingham, you've got the Resorts World Arena or BP Pulse Live. So make of that what you will. The NEC Arena, that's how most people know it. This is, yes, right there in the middle of Birmingham. 15,685 apparently the capacity. It opened in 1980 and has been renovated. If a musician is on a world tour, usually it's London, Birmingham, Manchester, somewhere in Scotland, maybe Cardiff, maybe Belfast. And certainly loads of famous people have performed at BP Pulse Live. We've also got the Arena Birmingham, or the Utilita Arena, or the National Indoor Arena, as it was known once upon a time. Eurovision was there in 1998. 15,800 is the capacity. It opened in 1991. That's another option. Birmingham has hosted loads of major events in the past, and would be an absolutely fine choice for Eurovision. It's not that far from me either. Wahey. We have the OVO Hydro in Glasgow, which opened just over a decade ago. £125 million it cost, and it has a capacity of just under 15,000 with standing. It's definitely a pretty modern venue. It could have been there instead of Liverpool a few years ago, of course. Talking of Liverpool, the Liverpool Arena opened in 2008 apparently and has a capacity of about 11,000 with standing, and it has been expanded as well, and it's right next to the water, and I walked past it in 2023 when I watched a screening of the final on the pier head. Leeds has the first direct arena, which does look a little bit space age. It opened in 2013, cost £60 million, and just under 14,000 people can go in there. Then we have London, which has, well, it has the O2 Arena. I've been there, albeit ages ago. Formerly the Millennium Dome. Definitely a very recognisable venue. 20,000 people can be packed into there. It opened in 2007, and every famous musician on the planet has performed there at one point or another. You do also have Wembley Arena, which is next to the football stadium. Seen that as well. This has a capacity of 12,500 and opened in 1934. How about that? That's also used for many other events. Manchester, Eurovision's never been there. It's a great city for music. You do have the Manchester Central Convention Complex. Yes, that was formerly a train station. I think snooker has been staged there, and that opened in 1986, but I don't think that would really be used for Eurovision at all. It would need some work. The Manchester Arena, or the AO Arena as it's currently known, 21,000 people. It opened in 1995, and then it reopened after the tragic event with the Ariana Grande concert in 2017. That's an option, but you do also have Co-op Live, which is also in Manchester and is absolutely massive. It's the largest indoor arena in the UK and third largest in the world. There were some difficulties with this when it opened. 23,500 people with standing. It cost somewhere in the region of £400 million to construct. It opened in May of last year, and so far quite a few famous people have performed there. Paul McCartney, Sabrina Carpenter, and Billie Eilish is there next month. So there you go. Manchester has a few suitable venues, absolutely. Nottingham has the National Ice Centre, which I haven't been to, but I've been to Nottingham. It opened in 2000, and again used for many different events. Newcastle has the Utilita Arena, which opened in the mid-90s. 11,000 people can be packed into that one. And Sheffield has the Sheffield Arena, which opened in the early 1990s and has a capacity of 12,500. Now, if I just do this, I just want to mention before wrapping this video up that apparently there are going to be new indoor arenas opening in Valencia, Milan, also Brasov in Romania, Warsaw, Vienna. Some of these aren't confirmed yet, but they are in the planning process. Helsinki and Vantaa, Bristol, Kyiv, Cardiff, Barcelona, another one in Helsinki, Frankfurt, Gateshead, Bergen in Norway, Reggio Emilia in Italy, Oulu in Finland. Finland are building loads of different places. They're taking the music seriously. Uppsala in Sweden, Sunderland and Dundee in the UK, and Lviv in Ukraine, among many other places, including that new Scandinavium, or Scandinavium, however you say it, in Gothenburg, Sweden. Anyway, that's about it. Hopefully this turned out okay. Let me know your thoughts. I'm not sure if it's remotely that interesting to many Eurovision fans, but nevertheless, I've filmed 2 parts of it anyway, and I will be back with more Eurovision-related content in the near future. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.